Otro video para ti hoy. Este es Aaron con NetComputers.com. Day NetComputers.com. It's all good. Con, whatever. Compaq EVO N180. I received it recycled, and it's probably not worth anything. I may not be even able to give it away, but I thought I'd have some fun and I'll just show you what I do when I do get recycled computers and how I process them. First thing is I look for visible, damage. This thing is like in mint condition actually. I could clean it up and it would probably look basically brand new. It's a Pentium 3, does not have an operating system. On screen you should be able to see operating system not found. However, I wiped it with Derek's boot and nuke overnight, and even when I received it, I had the same message, so it could be that the owner wiped the drive before he gave it to me. It's a Pentium 3, older school technology. It's 15 years old. I looked it up. That's another thing I do, is I will Google search or Bing search or DuckDuckGo search the EVO N180, the model number of the computer. Another place you can look to research is with especially laptops, there's a sticker or sometimes permanently stamped on the bottom. There's a different model number. If you notice here, series CM2110. So that's another search you could type in, is CM2110. This is a Compaq, but it could be one of the HP Compaqs because HP bought out Compaq. And for a while they called them HP Compaqs or HPs or Compaqs or whatever. It has a Windows 2000 Professional 1 to 2 CPU license key. Obviously Windows 2000 is not worth much anymore, but I try to look for COA stickers, and if I once in a while I do buy computers at really low prices, and the first thing I look for is a certificate of authenticity, because this is the license key. What that does is it allows you to reinstall the operating system without purchasing a license, and it's legit, it's all legal, and I don't give a shit about laws and all that crap, but there are pitfalls in the system, so you just become aware of that. What this allows you to do is you don't have to purchase a copy of Windows. Now, let's say this was a newer computer and I could get $100 for it. Well, if it did not have this sticker, I would have to go out and purchase a retail version of Windows, and then that costs me money, and then that reduces my profit margin. Another thing I check for, especially on laptops, is batteries. If you noticed, when it was plugged in, the orange light would flash, but let's see if it turns on again. Maybe it won't. It was flashing. This orange light was flashing. Well, I left this computer plugged in overnight because I wiped it with Derek's boot and nuke. And when I came in this morning, last night before I left, the light was it wasn't blinking. It was a solid orange, and then this morning it was blinking, but the battery is not getting charged. And even now I'm not sure why it's not lighting up. Anyways, so with some laptops, I don't know about newer ones, it seems like each year, each 5 years, whatever, computer components are getting cheaper and they like to skimp out. But I noticed with older laptops, 10, 15 years old, even older than that, they will have a tester. These are similar to Dell's. I think probably new Dell laptops still have that. The circle, you see the circle, that's actually a button. You just press it and it will test the battery. However, I've tried this multiple times. I don't think this is broke. I think this battery is just completely dead. it will test the battery, and what it will do is it will display how many lights light up. There's 5 total. I think even Dell, there's either 4 or 5 lights. If they are all green, usually the battery is good, and it's just kind of an indicator. There might be indicator codes that you can search on the internet too, but none of them turn on, even though I left this laptop plugged in for almost 24 hours now. Well, it hasn't been 24 hours, but I left it on overnight to charge and also to wipe the hard drive. So most likely this battery is dead. Now here's a quick tip. This could be a gold tip, or it could be fool's gold, whatever. Even with newer modern technology, even in 2018, if the laptop battery doesn't hold a charge like it used to, what you could try is what you do is you discharge the battery completely. So you could boot it into the BIOS and then leave the laptop on until it turns off, until the battery drains. You do not plug it in. You disconnect the AC adapter. You're only going to run the computer off the battery. It will discharge the battery. Then what you do is you plug in the AC adapter and you power it on. You can boot it into Windows or just boot into the BIOS and leave it until it fully charges, until you go into Windows and Windows says it's 100% complete charge. You do that 3 times. You discharge, charge, discharge, charge, discharge, charge 3 times. And a lot of times with these older batteries, it can lengthen the lifetime of them. Now sometimes they're so old that that trick doesn't work, but that is a trick I learned at least a decade ago. Another point of contention, caveat emptor. I know some Latin, but not that much. It could be a waste of time and money for you to try to recycle an older laptop. I'm not defaming anybody. I'm not defaming the individual that dropped this technology off to me. So don't take it personal. Yesterday's video, I threw an old copy of Symantec antivirus. It wasn't personal. I wasn't personally lashing out towards the individual and making a mockery out of him. No, with my customers, I don't tell them, well, I think McAfee antivirus sucks. I think Symantec is a joke. I think Norton is junk. But in private and in my videos, I am very blunt. If a battery like this, I don't know, you could Google it. That's another thing you want to look for is, are there any hardware components that are failing or they no longer work? With laptops, this is very common, even with new laptops. The batteries fail. If it's a newer laptop, it's worth you can get batteries, a lot of times for $10. Now, they might not be the original battery. That's another thing you need to become aware of. It'll be a third-party company that will make a replacement. OEMs, if you go directly to, like say if it's a newer laptop, it's only a couple years old. If you go directly to HP or Compaq or Dell or whoever and buy a replacement battery from them, it's going to be much more expensive than if you were to go on eBay or Amazon and look for an OEM replacement battery. You know what I'm saying? So is it worth the price of the battery in order to resell? Are you going to make your money back? Are you going to break even, or are you going to even lose money? So you need to become aware of that when you recycle computers and electronics. I don't like to sell laptops with missing parts or with parts that don't work. That's not how I roll. Me personally, I could care less. I could use this laptop and just plug in the power and it, but so the battery doesn't charge. It's most likely a failed battery. It's not good anymore. And let's see. I think it goes like this. I don't like to sell items that are missing parts or, with failing parts, but that's just me. Another point of contention is it's possible, it could be a driver's issue. It's possible that this left mouse button, this is a touchpad mouse, and I think this might be also, maybe. I don't think this works because I loaded Windows 2000 on it, and this button wouldn't work. It could be that all I have to do is disconnect the ribbon cable from the touchpad from the motherboard, but that would require me to take apart this laptop, and it's in such nice condition that I really don't want to even have to take it apart. Or it could be a driver's issue. So that's just some points that I go over, and then like I'm not going to spend too much time, but what we can do is I'll just show you on screen what I would do. Now yesterday I made that video and I said this wasn't going to be that serious of a video. It's not going to be, you know. I'll start clowning around whenever I feel like playing the part, whenever I feel like getting, you know, whatever. There's so many fakes on YouTube. You actually have men that are so fake on YouTube that they put makeup on before they go live on camera. That is how fucking fake YouTube is. I don't apply makeup on just so that I can look pretty for the cameras. I don't give a fuck what I look like on camera. I'll be blunt. But I'll give you a quick example. I think I'm going to make a separate video describing, you know, how to price things, how to research, how to advertise. How much do I advertise for? How much do you think I can get for an item? And then I have a spreadsheet. Every piece of equipment that I recycle, I enter in. Usually I don't enter in the serial numbers. That's, in my opinion, overkill. But I enter in the model numbers, and then I include how much did I pay. Like, this is a good example. If this was newer technology and I would have to buy a replacement battery, but I could still make money off of it, I would put that in my spreadsheet. Oh, okay, I paid $10 for the replacement battery, and then I add up how much everything costs, because most items I get for free, just like this. This didn't cost me anything. You know what I'm saying? Is the camera weird or what? Oh, you know what? My blinds are open. Let me close the blind. Aaron, you're such a pervert. You shouldn't admit that your blinds are open. What are you, a peeping Tom, Aaron? Now there's still glare. What is that glare? I can see it in the what is that? I thought it was from the light from behind me, but what the fuck is that? There's bars. Is the camera failing? You know what? It might be failing. See the lines? I don't know. Something's really weird. Anyways, where was I? That's annoying. I don't like that. What the hell is that? There's lines. I don't know, man. Alright, let's move on. As a quick example, I made a video showing you how to properly install the RAM on an old Mac Power PC G5. And where's that video? Oh, you know what? Let's see. Come on. Oh, here it is. And just as an example, I received this equipment for free because people left these computers out by the dumpster. And I was like, okay. And now they're heavy as fuck. These old Power PC Macs, they are heavy as fuck. That one is about 50 pounds when I looked it up on the internet. Let me go show you where there should be a better... There, that's a better angle. As an example, since I got it for free, and as a recycler, I don't charge. And you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to digress too much. So I didn't pay anything for the hardware. I fixed it by properly putting in the RAM correctly. And then what I did pay for is a copy of Mac OS X Leopard. So that cost me $20, but I have 3 Macs. So it'll only be about $7 per Macintosh. Now, since it's software, I don't really necessarily include it into the price. I keep it as a mental note. Now, let's say I had 100 computers and I had to purchase a license for each individual computer, then yes, I would include it for every item as an expense. But so basically I profited $80. But if you want to, keep it in the back of your mind, well, technically if I only loaded Leopard on 3 Macs for the rest of my life, well then technically, and I sell all 3 Macs, technically it cost me $7 per Mac, so I would have profited $73 per computer. Alright, so I just wanted to give you an example, and I listed this for $100 on Craigslist. I didn't even waste time listing it on eBay or Amazon because I'm not shipping a 50-pound computer. No, thank you. And I listed it for $100. The first buyer offered $70, and I emailed him back saying, you can have it for $80. $80 and it's yours. The next weekend, he came up, checked it out really quick, and paid me $80 cash. So I made $73 to $80 profit. You know what I'm saying? That's just a quick example. Now this computer, I probably can't even give it away, but I just want to show you an example. And I keep a spreadsheet, and I track my expenses. That is so annoying. I don't know what that is. I might have to reboot Windows. I'm hoping it's just the operating system, or maybe it's the video software I'm using, OBS Studio. I don't know. Alright, let's move on. I don't want to make this video too long. I'd like to go outside and get some vitamin D. Well, it's not. Well, some people think it's not. The sun, yeah, it's not technically it's vitamin D. It's actually a hormone. Anyways, whenever I go out in the sun, it gives me energy, and actually sunlight is good for you. So I try to get at least a half an hour worth of sunlight on average per day, at least. Alright, even during the winter. Okay, so bad battery, so this needs to get replaced. The DVD drive works. Now there is one little bit of damage, a few scratches, but considering how old this laptop is, this right here is, I don't know if you can see it. This is broke right here. It's just plastic. You could probably pull it off, but that's about it. Other than that, it's got printer port. It's got a combination PS2 mouse, keyboard, 2 USB, probably 1.0, a FireWire port 1394 VGA, S-Video, Ethernet, and modem. And I think that's it for the connections, and a cable lock. I think that's it. DVD drive, although I think this is missing. This is the PCMCI A slot where you can, install cards like maybe a modem. That usually on laptops they have a blank. It's just a blank. It's just a piece of plastic insert so it doesn't get dust. I'm thinking they might have lost it. Now, I don't like to sell equipment that has anything missing, but that's just me. I would let this go, even if it was a newer laptop and I could make a profit off of it. But you can sometimes find replacement parts like that on eBay. To me, let's say it was a really new laptop and I could make $200 profit off of it. Believe it or not, I would order the replacement blank and wait for it to come in off of eBay, even if it only costs $5, because that's just how I roll. I like to sell equipment that is as close to new as possible. You know what I'm saying? And that includes used computers. Anything else about this that I noticed really quickly? I just take a quick scan. Oh, it's got headphone and mic jack. It's got this is a DVD drive. It's a DVD-ROM read-only and a CDRW compact disc rewritable. it works. I don't know about the rewritable works, but I don't know. That looks like somebody took that off, and that should be inside. Anyways, I'm assuming the RAM is underneath here. Anything else? Other than that, this is like in brand new shape. These might come off if I clean it up. These might just be smudges, or they might be just small little scratches. But I mean, this is a 15-year-old laptop. So what I was going to show you on the Google really quick is, I'm not going to spend any time. I just quickly go over. Just go to Google or Bing or DuckDuckGo or whatever, and you just type in the model number. So this one, we can CM2110. Well, come on. And you just perform some quick research. You know, what's the processor speed? How much RAM does it accept? In case you need to order RAM or whatever. To me, it's a good idea to become accustomed to the technical specifications, because then when you do your research on eBay or Amazon or Craigslist or all of the above, then when you go to price the computer, you know what the hardware is, and then that helps you gauge what the computer is worth. That's another thing. The way I price items is I will get 5 to 10 prices on Amazon, eBay, Craigslist, and I will average them. I will take the 10 prices and I will divide the total dollar amount by 10, and then that's usually what I list. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times that works. And I always list the item a little bit higher than I think it's worth, because you got the clowns, especially on Craigslist and eBay. Amazon's pretty good. Amazon, generally, you get more money on the exact same. Let's say I listed this item on all three, Amazon, eBay, Craigslist, and I sold it on Amazon. Almost every time, guaranteed, even though it's the same exact laptop, I will get more money for it on Amazon, because Amazon buyers are not stingy. Buyers on eBay and Craigslist, to me, are fucking stingy as fuck. A lot of them are rude. They'll threaten you. They will lowball you. I had a lowball offer on my second PowerPC G5 Mac. Some clown offered me $40, even though I listed it for $100. I didn't laugh. I just said, for $80, it's yours. Well, then the clown responded back with saying he would give me $50. Do you know what I do to those people? I ignore them and I don't waste my time. So then you can just perform some quick research if you need to, and then also you go on eBay and Amazon and look up this same model number, or you get this other one. Some computer hardware, they have multiple model numbers. EVO N180. So the EVO N180, and here's a little bit of information. What I prefer is to get information directly from the manufacturer. Now with older equipment, it may be harder to find, but there's still a page here. Compaq EVO N180 notebook PC. Just to try to find out, I found out that this laptop is most likely 15 years old, 2003, and sometimes they have hardware specifications. Generally, if a computer is newer, there's a greater chance that there'll still be a page out there with specifications and drivers and all that stuff. So let's move on from that. If I cannot find a page directly from the manufacturer, then what I will do is I will use some popular websites. Generally, big websites like CNET or PC Magazine, or you know what I'm saying? Not always. They're not always perfect, but generally a lot of those bigger websites are more accurate. So if you were to view their page pertaining to this laptop and you cannot find a page with the specifications from the manufacturers, then CNET wrote up a review, or they just wrote up a technical article. Pentium 3, 1.20 gigahertz, 256 megabytes of RAM, and sometimes this is so old that there's very little left. You know what I'm saying? But so once in a while, you can find tech specs for equipment on different websites. Or you can even go to Amazon. You could go to Amazon and look for the listing. Now, this is probably it, but it might not be for sale, but you can still sell it. Now, I don't want to talk about Amazon because Amazon is more difficult to sell on than eBay. I don't want to digress about that. But you can use the sales pages because sometimes they include technical specifications. And if you have the right UPC code, then you can list this even though there's no laptops for sale. Notice how it says currently unavailable? But if you have one of the exact same item, you can list it and you can sell it as used on Amazon. But I'm telling you, you'll get more money generally compared to eBay and Craigslist. eBay buyers are stingy as fuck, and same thing with Craigslist. Being honest, I hate dealing with fucking people from Craigslist and eBay because they're so fucking stingy. Whereas Amazon, now sometimes once in a while I did have some people on Amazon try to get stingy with me. On Amazon, you're really not supposed to. Their etiquette is you're not supposed to offer a lower price. You can do it, but most people don't do it. But yeah, I've had a few people and I just ignored them. I was like, no, I'm not listing this item on Amazon so I can. It's not. I understand eBay is an auction site, but eBay has a buy it now feature. Craigslist is not an auction site. You know what I'm saying? Anything else? Now let's load the operating system. I think my camera cleared up. That was weird. You know what? Before I do that, I have some water warming up for my green tea. I drink 2 large mugs of green tea a day. So let me get that ready, and then we'll just fuck around and we'll try to load the Windows 2000. And I'm gonna even try to surf on the internet with this fucker. I am. So I did go over a little bit. I gave you a few tips, but no, I think I might make an entire video just what does it take to sell pre-owned electronics and computers, you know what I'm saying, on the internet, or what, you know what I'm saying? What does it take? What do you need to do, or what should you do, or what could you do? Okay, I took care of my green tea, so I'm just letting it seep a little bit, and then I'm going to start drinking it on camera. Excuse me. Alright, so I've got a CD. That's another thing you need to become aware of, is that especially with computers, do you have the operating CDs? That's another expense. Like, I was lucky I was able to obtain a copy of Mac OS X Leopard, a legitimate copy. You are allowed to resell the discs for whatever you can get for them. I was lucky to get it for $20, and it just happened the guy happened to advertise on Craigslist like like a week before, or like right around the same time I found those Macs. So I mean, other than that, I would have had to get it off of eBay, and sometimes you get scammed on eBay. The media, when it comes to Microsoft, you really don't have to worry about that. Microsoft, you're allowed to make copies, you're allowed to resell them. There's really, as long as the computer has a legitimate license. That's why the certificate authenticity sticker sometimes is worth more than the computer itself. In this case, it probably is. Well, it's Windows 2000. Whatever. I'm just making shit up now. But do you have the media to reinstall the operating system? Do you know how to wipe a hard drive? Do you know how to do that? And the hard drive that's in this computer is an older school IDE drive. They had pins, I think 40 pins, something like that. This is an old IDE drive. I kept it. I think 2 years ago, an individual brought me a Toshiba. It was a Pentium 4 single core. He was gonna pay me $80 to fix it, even though it was a really old computer. But some people are like that. I could not fix it. I think a circuit on the motherboard failed, and he just gave me the laptop, and just let me have it. So I recycled it. I parted it out and used whatever I could, and I just decided to save this IDE drive. Now, every once in a while, I get customers with IDE drives for data recovery, but it's very rare. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the IDE drives look like. The newer SATAs are different. And with laptops, you could not install a laptop IDE drive or PATA in a desktop computer because the connections wouldn't work. Let's move on. So that's what the hard drive in this computer is, this type. Are you gonna, it's a 30 gig. This is like 8 or 10. All right, so let's get to the operating system. All right, so I've got the CD. The guy that just dropped off this equipment was great because the equipment was like brand new, most of it. Most, if not all of it, works except for the uninterruptible power supply. And he even kept all the CDs. He's got 3 different CDs for Windows 2000. He even has the original recovery CD. I'm going to use this one because it has Service Pack 4. That's another thing you need to know. Even now, from my understanding, Microsoft, I don't think they're going to use service packs anymore. They could change their mind. Their model is different. Like every 6 months they put out a different they claim it's a different version of Windows. I don't think that's honest. I don't think that's the truth. Because to me, a different operating system has a different kernel. It has an entirely different kernel. Yeah, but whatever. I don't argue about that. But back in the day, even Windows 7 had a service pack. There is a huge difference between service packs. Windows Vista was terrible, but Windows Vista with Service Pack 2 to me was pretty good. Windows 7 Service Pack 1 is to me much better than just Windows 7 without the service pack. Windows 2000 was pretty bad, but with each service pack, especially Service Pack 4, it to me was a lot more secure, a lot more reliable. So my point is that when it comes to Windows, when I resell computers, I try to load the latest and greatest service pack, or like with Windows 10, I tried to load the latest and greatest version of Windows 10 with the most current updates already pre-installed, so my customer doesn't have to worry about that crap. Same thing with Macintosh. If somebody brings a Macintosh to me and the hard drive fails, or for whatever reason, or if I resell a Mac, I try to find out what is the most current, what is the newest version of Macintosh operating system I can load, and I would load that for them because there's a lot of benefits in that. And Linux too. I try to I have to plug it. Well, now it's not even turning on. Maybe it's the battery getting in the way. That's interesting. Huh. Oh, it was loose. It was loose. With Linux, now there's nothing. All of a sudden, the computer, well, this is strange. Let's take out the battery. It could be the battery that's causing a problem. Oh, okay. Now let's try it again. We'll just plug it in without the battery. The battery doesn't work anyway, so that's basically what we're doing to begin with. There we go. Yeah, see, that's a tip. Sometimes the battery, a failing battery, it will cause the computer not even to turn on. So you might be aware of that. Some older, I don't know about newer computers, but some older computers back in the day, believe it or not, the computer wouldn't boot without the battery. You want to explain that one to me? I mean, I don't understand sometimes. Alright, so let's try to load Windows 2000 and we're going to surf the internet. Alright. And we'll have to reboot. You might have to go in the BIOS and change the settings to get it to boot off the CD. You need to learn how to create bootable media on flash drives like USB, especially Windows 10 because it's a lot faster. There's Windows 2000 setup. Wow, this brings back memories. I'm getting emotional. I remember all those girlfriends I had when I was younger. And now that I'm such a nice guy, I can't even buy a date. I'm being honest. When I was younger, I was a player. I had 3 girlfriends at one point in my life when I was young. Late teenager? Right out of high school? Yeah, and guess what? I'm not making this shit up. I had 2 girlfriends at the same time. And one of my female friends, who knew that I had 2 girlfriends, she actually asked me out, as in she asked me to become her girlfriend even though she knew I had 2 other girlfriends. So here's a tip. If you want to become successful with females, you do not, no, you're not just exclusive to one. Now that's not being married. When it comes to settling down and getting married and having children, no, that's not when you clown around and you be a player. But I'm saying, and I noticed, I think I've become nicer. Although my critics claim I'm a narcissist and I'm an asshole and I'm an egotist and I only care about the sound of my voice, and I play that part and I think I play it well. But anybody can become an actor on YouTube. Although I refuse to become fake. I refuse to put makeup on just so when I get on camera it appears that I look 2 days younger, or to somehow hide my wrinkles, or whatever. But back in the day, I couldn't get rid of the girls. Now I can't even buy them. What I mean by that, I can't even hire an escort. You know why? Because all the escort agencies in Denver, Colorado, they know me now. They know me. They tell their employees, which is the females, not to date me. Well, don't do it, Aaron. Goddamn it, Aaron is. Oh, absolutely not, Aaron. Oh, no. Even if he offers you $200 an hour, absolutely not. See, I've been castigated away. See, the nicer you are in society, the more people shit on you. They think that being nice is negative. And humans are predators. They will literally attack you if you're different or if you're nice, and especially females. The nicer you are, they don't want anything to do with you. But back when you were an asshole and a player and you had 3 girlfriends, they couldn't wait to, go out on a date with you. It's just, humans are just, I don't want to talk about humans. I avoid 98% of Americans. Moving on. Welcome to setup. So we're going to just hit enter. Now the great thing about Windows 2000 setup and Windows XP setups was you could perform a repair install. What that means is that you could reinstall Windows on top of itself. It would not delete any of the user data. So your documents, your pornography, your AshleyMadison.com accounts, your phone numbers for all your girlfriends or boyfriends. Women cheat just as much as men, etc. It wouldn't delete any of your data. It would, and a lot of times that would fix issues. But micro crap, micro slop, micro shit, wind blows, micro crap Incorporated decided to get rid of the repair installs. All right, so we're going to hit enter. Quick, come on. Okay, hit F8 for the license agreement. Now here's where you format it. Windows format tool sucks. Microsoft Windows format tool sucks. It's inferior, even the full format. Because you know why I know that? For over a decade, I've been wiping drives with Derek's Boot and Nuke, and I've noticed that when I do that, I have a lot less quirky, weird problems when I do load Windows. When you try to load Windows on top of Windows, let's say this hard drive had Windows installed on it, and I went and reinstalled it by going into here and then using the Windows format tool. No, the Windows format tool, no. I know for a fact that I have way less issues by using a tool like Derek's Boot and Nuke. So I'm just going to hit enter. I have to format it. I don't want to format it. NTFS is newer than FAT, so I'll just hit the default. I wish it wouldn't format it, but it has to format it because I just wiped it with Derek's Boot and Nuke. But I have noticed that when I wipe a drive with Derek's Boot and Nuke and then I go ahead and install Windows, whether it's Windows 90, well, I would say Windows 2000 all the way to Windows 10, even when Windows formats it, there's a lot less issues with the overall response to the operating system. There's a lot less issues. Even with newer hard drives, even with SATA hard drives. Solid state drives, I just don't know. Solid state drives, I think technically you're not really supposed to format a solid state drive, but you can wipe them. There's a difference you need to understand, you need to study. There's a difference between formatting and wiping a drive. When you write zeros to a drive, it's different than formatting. See, this is formatting it for NTFS file system. Whereas when you use a tool like Derek's Boot and Nuke, it doesn't format it so that you can read it for the NTFS file system or any other file system. It, depending on what you choose, it will either write zeros and ones or it'll wipe the drive. And I prefer 3 passes. Also, it makes it harder for if somebody steals your laptop. I need to clean my shirt. Anyways, if somebody steals your laptop, or let's say you give your computer away, including the hard drive, if you wipe it, there's less chance of somebody getting your data off of it. It makes it more difficult. There's arguments about that. Some people claim that there's always a chance that somebody could get the data off of it. The only way is to destroy the hard drive, whereas I don't know about that. You can make it very difficult. You know what I'm saying? You can use I'm not a fan of the military, but they are the ones that created the internet, so it kind of makes logical sense. There are some tools out there that the Department of Defense uses that will wipe the drive, and most tools is probably, if not near impossible to recover the data off of it. Because technically, I don't want to. Let's not digress about that bullshit. I don't want to make a serious video. I'm just relaxing. We'll see. Windows 2000, Aaron. Wow, Aaron, what a computer repair technician you are. You sure keep up with the Joneses. Aaron, let me ask you, Aaron, how many customers a week do you have that ask you to reinstall Windows 2000 since you're such a brilliant businessman, Aaron? Aaron, how do you eat? Aaron, Jesus fucking Christ, Aaron, that's goddamn 15-year-old operating system. Well, it's actually technically 18, but whatever. God damn it, Aaron, don't get snide with me. Anybody can act. It's not fucking rocket science. You want my honest opinion? I don't watch Hollywood movies. Holly weird. I call them weird. Holly weird. I don't watch that garbage. The last movie I ever attended was The Matrix, the last one. Matrix Reloaded or whatever, the third one. That was fucking 14 years ago, I think. I've seen some of the best acting just on the bus or out at a fair. People were just clowning around, or your local theater, or YouTube. Some of these clowns on YouTube, even the fake ones that put makeup on before they appear on camera, they're better actors than the motherfuckers that make $5 million per movie. Now, what's up with that, huh? I'm just preparing my green tea. Oh, you know what? Yeah, this will take a little while. I will be right back. I'll try to get it so I'll show you it's at 99%. This is boring. You know, it just... Oh, wow. It's like watching paint dry, or... It's like watching Holly weird actors. They're boring. They're dry. They're not even that good, and they are way overpaid, and a lot of them are perverts like... What's that clown's name? I don't even give a shit about that crap. Weisenstein, or I don't know, who cares? Well, of course. So what would make you think that those weirdos and Holly weird, what makes you think that they're perfect? Actually, when I've studied a lot of Holly weird actors, most of them are fucked up. Like, we're talking rapists, they got away with rape or murder, or they beat their wives, or even the women are no better, cheating on their husbands, just nasty. Drug addicts, a lot of them are drug addicts. You notice how young they die? Who gives a shit about fucking... Who cares about celebrities? I'll be back. I'm back. I'm Aaron's replacement, and I finally got rid of him. I mean, he's such a narcissistic jackass, I got sick and tired of him. If you think he's narcissistic, just wait. All right. I came back early because I'm going to go outside for a half an hour and try to obtain some what is called vitamin D or a hormone. It's at 79%. It'll install files. It'll take a while. I'll if I go out now, I might be back in a half an hour, and I'll show you some of the files installing. But there are steps. It's not like it'll boot into the desktop. I'll be back. I might be able to show you the files installing. If not, there's some additional steps required to set up Windows 2000, and then I'm actually going to hook it up to the internet, and we are going to surf the internet with Windows 2000. So this is a Compaq EVO N180. It's like in immaculate condition. I just couldn't believe it. Some of these computers I get that are recycled are just amazing how some people take care of their equipment really well, whereas some other people just trash it. And in my opinion, my generation and younger, we don't respect anything. I don't like the word respect, but you know what I'm saying? We don't value anything. We just trash everything. Well, goddamn it, Aaron, who says you are the expert in morality? Well, Aaron, well, wait a minute, Aaron. I thought I got rid of you. God damn it. Foiled again. I'll be back after I get some vitamin D or some... Allegedly, it's a hormone. Whatever. I need to go outside and get some sun. I'll be back. I'm back. I got rid of Aaron permanently, I think, this time. What a fool he is. Anyways, I didn't come back in time. I was only out for a half an hour. Well, 35 minutes. But, you know. So I didn't get to show you the files. All with Windows 2000 installs and Windows XP, which are very similar, almost the same, really. The basically the process, even the progress bars are almost the same. It just shows you that it's installing files. As long as you don't have any problems with the hard drive or the media, then it'll eventually get to this point, and then where it requires, you know, a little bit of input. So it's not like you missed much of anything. So now I don't mess with any of this. Let's say I'm gonna still try to sell this computer, although with a bad battery, I don't know. I don't know if, you know, I don't like to. I usually normally don't sell computers or equipment with missing items. I don't even think I could order a replacement battery. I haven't looked yet, so I don't know. I might just give it away. I'll just list it and on Craigslist, and I don't know, somebody might have a use for it. I might just keep it for myself because it's almost in brand new shape. But let's say hypothetically this was 10 years ago and I was going to try to sell this computer. Well, actually it'd be about 15 years ago. Even 10 years ago, Windows 2000 was pretty old. I don't mess with any of this. I just click next. See, I don't think this left mouse button works. I'm clicking and it's not moving. So it could be drivers or it could be hardware. So I'm gonna have to hook up a mouse, and this guy down here, I don't know if this could be the volume. You know what? This could be the volume control for the speakers, the audio speakers. So I'm gonna have to hook up a mouse because this isn't working. Oh, yeah. Another thing you can do is let's go back. Is you can use your keyboard keys. You can just hit tab and then click enter, and then hit enter to click next. Now for the name, I just put in something generic. When I sell computers, and for the organization, I usually just put the make of computer, and we'll just put Compaq, and then we'll just hit tab, and then we'll hit, oh, it wants the product key. Okay, well, I think I have it. I think. So let's see. I think I might have it. I think the previous owner actually kept it. I might have it. Or you know what? Duh. It's on the sticker. It's on the sticker. So what you do is it gives you an example of the certificate of authenticity sticker, which is on the bottom. And all you do is you enter in those numbers right there. So to save time, I'm going to enter in those numbers and then I'll be back. I'm back. So I ran into some problems with, I was able to type in the key, but then it loaded Windows, but the other disk I was using I don't think was designed for this exact computer, and it was missing drivers, and I couldn't, and then I have two other CDs, and I could not manually load the drivers for at least the Ethernet so I could get on the internet and possibly get other drivers. I do have a driver pack, but I've never tested it on Windows 2000. Snappy, I don't know if Snappy allows you, I don't know if Snappy supports Windows 2000, and I don't know if Driver Pack supports Windows 2000, so I didn't want to waste that time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the original CD. I wanted to install Windows 2000 Service Pack 4. It didn't load the drivers, and since this is older technology, I was like, fuck it. So we're going to recover it. It's only going to have Windows 2000 Service Pack 1, but it will have all the drivers. But I was thinking maybe I could have loaded Windows 2000. I'll show you the CD. I tried this one, but this only has Service Pack 2, but it doesn't, I can't even use it with this computer. It won't let me restore this computer, but I tried to get the drivers off of it. Then the other one I had was this one that has Service Pack 4 on it. This one didn't have the drivers for this specific computer, so it's possible that this CD came from a different computer, a different model. But I'm not going to do it on video. I could load this again, and I could use either Driver Pack or Snappy and see if they support Windows 2000. And get the drivers loaded. But I didn't want to waste your time. So we're going to use this recovery CD. I know it has the drivers for this computer, and it will load the drivers, but it just won't have Service Pack 4 or Windows 2000. But we'll test the internet, you know what I'm saying? And we'll fuck around on the internet a little bit. And we'll get some viruses and some malware and spyware, and you know. It's got Windows 98 on it. A version of DOS. I wiped the computer with Derek's boot and nuke. Warning, all existing data on your drive will be deleted. Now I do have an older version of Windows 2000, but it's the upgrade version, but it has a serial number attached to it, and I want to keep that for myself. That's the only other Windows 2000 media. Otherwise I could have used that. But that one probably doesn't have, it might not even have any of the service packs. So you hit 1 and then enter. Hit enter. Okay, do you really want to do it? Press 1 and then hit enter. And now it's going to kick off its recovery. It's real easy. It loads Windows 2000. It formats the C drive and it installs the drivers, and I will be back when it's almost complete, and then we'll continue on from there. And now's the time to kill some brain cells, or just light up a blunt and toke up, or I don't know, whatever it is that you do to pass the time, but whatever. I'll be back. I'm back. So you just saw the tail end. I was watching a video on YouTube, and I was like, oh fuck. I did get to the very end. It said 100%. Not much. It got to close to 100%, and then it just completed it, and now it says that it's done, and it just tells you to remove the CD. So we're going to remove the recovery CD. It didn't take that long. It was about 10 minutes or so. And we're going to hit enter, and it will reboot. There's some input that's going to be requested for Windows 2000 setup. Starting Windows. There's the old school starting Windows dialog. Windows 2000 Professional. Booting up. So it's got a bad battery, and it has, I think, probably a bad left trackpad mouse button. So other than that, but the computer does work. It does work. The hard drive's chiming away, which is normal when it's being used heavily. The older IDE drives would do that. As long as they're not clicking. If they start clicking, that's a bad sign. This is a 30 gig IDE drive. IDE drives look like this with the pins at the top. This is what? 8 gig? Oh, this is 60. Holy fuck. I just looked at the label. This is a 60 gig IDE drive. Wow, it's a Western Digital. The one that came with this is 30 gigabytes. Now the setup wizard, and we're gonna have to use the keyboard keys because that mouse button doesn't work. So click next. I click next. I type in a generic name, and then I type in usually the computer manufacturer of the computer I'm setting up, and then we'll just use the tab and enter. I do not change the computer name. I just accept what is given default, and I never enter in a password because once this computer changes hands, I don't want to have to give them a password, and they might forget it or they might get locked out, and that's just a waste of time. Let's see, we'll tab down to here, and then we'll click on the down arrow for the local mountain time zone. Click next, hit enter, and this will sit here. I am connected to the internet. All of the drivers should have loaded, and I should be able to browse the internet here in a few seconds. Now, a lot of the popular web browsers like Microsoft Edge, Internet Explorer, well, Microsoft Edge was new, but newer than Internet Explorer, but Internet Explorer, Opera, Safari, Firefox, Google Chrome, they no longer support Windows 2000. I think Firefox is the last major web browser to support Windows XP. Typical, I just use the typical settings. I don't fuck with any of these settings. Click next. Okay, now here, no, this computer is not on a network or is on a network without a domain. Yeah, so we'll leave the default because, and then restart now. I was saying is that you might have to look for a less or known web browser that might still support Windows 2000. It's got the old school dialog box at boot up. This is a Pentium 3, I think 1.2 gigahertz. It might be a Celeron, but 768 megabytes of RAM, running Windows 2000. That's just fine. You might even be able to install Windows XP on this, and it would run just fine. And you can browse the internet. But like I said before, to be able to browse all of the modern websites, you're most likely going to have to look for a different web browser. Here, I changed this because this setting allows, if you use the default, then Windows always assumes the following user has logged on to this computer. Whereas if you choose the top one, users must enter a username and password to use this computer, or Windows always assumes the following user. You know what? I could just use the default. I'm not going to set a password. They can create accounts later. I'm getting teary-eyed and emotional that Windows 2000 login, music, poetry in motion, Beethoven reminds me of all of the time that I tortured myself supporting Windows 2000 for the government and for that scummy corporation, International Bullshit Machines. All those years I tortured myself. Man, Windows 2000, in a corporate environment, would be a nightmare at times because of the login scripts, and then a lot of times the profiles would get corrupted. And there was I think it was called a Hive. There was a patch called Hive login, and it would a lot of times it would fix that. Otherwise, you basically had to re-image the computer. You had to reinstall Windows 2000, restore their data, load all their applications. Otherwise, that you just sit there for like 15 minutes waiting for it to fucking log in. Service Pack 4 was a lot better. Now we're going to go out on the internet, connect to the internet. With Windows 2000, you had to go through the internet connection wizard. I'm going to choose the third one on the LAN. I'm not going to connect via telephone line or to a modem. I've got a LAN connection that shares the internet with my gateway. And we're going to choose the second one, LAN. And we will be out on the internet here in a few seconds. I uncheck that. You can leave that as default. Even on newer versions of Windows, you can use that as default. I just uncheck it because I don't use proxy. Nope, I don't want to set up an internet mail account. And we are going to click finish, and it should load. Always display this message. We'll click OK. And actually, amazingly enough, this is probably Internet Explorer 5. So go up to help, about Internet Explorer. Yep, it's Internet Explorer 5. And yet, guess what? MSN.com still works. Now, but most websites, I would say a lot of the websites like YouTube, we can test out. We can test out YouTube. But I would say it might not even function. Let's see, we could test Google. And we could test out YouTube. I'll just leave it at default. Yep, it doesn't even work. YouTube, it won't even try to load. Look at that. DNS error. Cannot find server. DNS error. It's because this is an old web browser. Now, what I could do is I could Google search Windows 2000 supported web browsers. We'll just say yes. The best internet browser for Windows 2000. That was written in 2009. What web browser are compatible with Windows 2000? Most of the major ones, popular ones, they don't support it anymore. I think, I could be wrong, but I think Mozilla Firefox was one of the last ones to support Windows XP, but they have now retired Windows XP. Google Chrome. You can still use some of the major web browsers on older operating systems like Vista or XP, but you'll get a message saying that they don't support it anymore and it's a security risk. But as far as that, you might have to find a web browser that you may have never heard of in order for it to, or another thing you could try is you could try to find an older version of some of the more mainstream web browsers and that at that time still supported Windows 2000. But there's going to be a lot of websites that just won't work. So we are on the internet. Windows 2000, blazing fast speed. We can't do much. Where do you want to go today, Aaron? YouTube doesn't work. What about Daily Motion? And then you have to worry about plugins like, Flash Player and all that crap. Wow. Oh, done, but with errors. You just get a blank page. How about my website, anetcomputers.com? Do I still support Windows 2000 with Internet Explorer 5? It's trying. Uh-oh, error on page. Oh, it does load. It's pretty. It looks like the mobile version. Wow, this is basically the mobile version of my website. So it does still work. And you can read all my blog posts. Wow. I'm kind of surprised. I'm using WordPress, but I don't have time to sit there and, well, let's say God damn it, Aaron, why don't you know that the current version of WordPress supports Internet Explorer 5? I don't have time for that. See? Check out my recycling page. I need to update it to add more specific items that I recycle. I was watching a YouTube video on computer recycling. This may not even load. Look, it's taking forever. Bueller. I've got some green tea. By the time you know what? I'm going to service my green tea. and I'll be back, and maybe this page will load. Maybe. Where do you want to go today, Aaron? Well, Aaron, all the females are going to want you now, Aaron, with your fancy Compaq EVO N180 with Windows 2000 Service Pack 1. Too bad you can't surf your own website, but wow, Aaron, you're quite the player, Aaron. All those escort agencies that have banned you, they might even hire you, Aaron. Aaron, are you still there, Aaron, or are you attending to your green tea? Alright, anyways, I'm just letting my green tea seep. Well, my main website works, but it's frozen now. So what do? I might have to kill Internet Explorer. Oh my god. End now. Yup. Ooh, remember Windows Media Player? Oh my god. Oh, Aaron, you got to install Norton Antivirus, Aaron. You'll love it. I double dare you, Aaron, to load Norton Antivirus. So another thing we can check is I will show you that all the drivers have been loaded. So right click my computer, properties, it's been activated. There's no errors with regards to it's already registered. Service Pack 1, unfortunately, 768 megabytes of RAM, Pentium 3. If you go to hardware then device manager, all of the drivers are loaded. See? Now I've been trying to upgrade this to Service Pack 4. I just can't get it to work with those other, or even Service Pack 2, with those other disks. But all the drivers are loaded. There are no yellow exclamation points. I can surf the internet, sort of. And the one thing is, it's got a bad battery. And this, we could test this guy. It does not work. The left mouse button does not work. The right one does, if you notice, but the left one does not. You know what I'm saying? It just, like, let's see, what could we test? So normally you would be able to left click to open. It doesn't work, or double click to open. You know, it doesn't do anything. So that's going to require quite a project. I don't think I'm going to film that, because, you know what I'm saying, I don't even know if I want to waste time doing it. But that's it. I just thought I'd make this video with older technology, Pentium 3, Compaq EVO N180, and we got Windows 2000 loaded, and we were even able to browse the internet with Internet Explorer 5, which I don't recommend that, you know, I don't recommend that you leave this computer out on the internet too long. You know what I'm saying? It'll get eaten up, especially with Internet Explorer. I never use Internet Explorer web browser, never. And I certainly don't rely on Norton antivirus. But it's running. It runs pretty good. See? You know? Hardware, pretty good. Pretty good. Can it I doubt it will see other computers if we go to the network tab. Oh, let's see. Where's that at? Oh, my network places. I doubt. Yeah, I'm not on. I don't even know if it would work. I don't even want to. You know. Aaron, you're quite the genius. You're going to infect your entire network. Putting that fucking... I'm distracted. That Albatross Windows 2000, Aaron. It's... Oh my God, Aaron, you're only running Windows 2000 with Service Pack 1. Oh my God, Aaron. Oh my God, Aaron. Be careful, Aaron. You might get sick. See, all the fear-mongering about using older operating systems is fucking obnoxious and fucking not necessary. But the shills on YouTube, the clowns that put makeup on before they appear on camera because they're so fucking worried about their aesthetics, the snobby ones, they claim that, oh my God, if you still use Windows XP, oh my God, how dare you? Oh my God, it's insecure. It's like, calm down. Not everybody is brainwashed like you. Not everybody believes the bullshit from the government and the military are about all this fear-mongering. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's going to happen if you use fucking Windows X. You're not going to die if you browse the internet with Windows XP. For fuck's sakes, all you have to do is turn on the firewall. You may want to, install an antivirus, or anti-malware. But other than that, I mean, give me a fucking break. I don't have anything further here, man. The rest of the process is just I have to. Well, I don't know. If I could just, why not? What the fuck? I'm gonna shut it down. If it's real quick, I'll try to figure out the touchpad. If it's going to take me too long, I'm not doing it. So I'm going to flip this upside down, and I already took out the battery. It was running off the battery doesn't charge. And on some of the older laptops, if you have a bad battery, the computer won't even boot properly. Or on some of the older laptops, believe it or not, you had to have the battery installed even if it was bad for it to boot up. I don't know about that. I actually seen that one before in real life. That one was a bit strange. So let's see, the trackpad's going to be somewhere underneath here. So they might not be marked. I might be able to unscrew these two. We can flip it, and the screws. Oh, the mouse came with it. Go away, mouse. Let's see, one came loose, so the other one I have to still loosen up. If it's not these two screws, I'm not going to waste any further time. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that screw came loose, and we can flip it over and see if that... Okay, that loosened that up. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is one piece, I'm pretty sure. And then the keyboard probably has separate screws to tighten it down. As far as the trackpad, it looks like it might be built into this one big piece. This might be a separate piece for the where the power buttons are at. This is a separate piece. I would say this here is might be one piece. The keyboard, and then the entire outside bezel might be a separate piece, or this might be all one piece, including the trackpad, and then this is separate and the keyboard separate. I don't think I'm going to proceed further because this is a old computer, and it looks like I probably have to unscrew all of these. I have to loosen all these screws in the corner. I don't know about these other ones. See, I'm thinking the keyboard, maybe that's the keyboard, that's a keyboard, and without the schematics, you know, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to me. Now there's a screw there, you know what I'm saying? Too much work. I just don't feel like it. I'm hungry. I'm getting hungry, and I think I'm gonna make some lunch and then, you know, call it a day, man. You're calling it a day already, Aaron. Wow. You're quite the productive member of society, Aaron. You're quite the hypocrite. You're not really productive, and you're just not really valuable to society. Even the escorts don't like you anymore, Aaron. You're too much of a nice guy, Aaron. Women don't like that. Even the escorts won't take your money, Aaron. That is true, though. Well, that's not a true story. I don't, need to pay a female to entertain myself, but, hey, I don't judge people. No, I don't give a shit about that crap. I don't care about prostitution. That doesn't bother me at all. My point is that when you're young, you're kind of an asshole, and you have a lot of girlfriends. Well, you think that becoming a virtuous, nice guy is productive for society, which is entirely not true, and is the wrong way to go about it. Because in all actuality, women don't like nice guys. And you'll learn that real quick. Really quick. Be a nice guy and see how many dates you get. See how many times in court you have to show up. If you're a nice guy and you get married, your wife may take you to the cleaners, meaning she's going to take you to court. She'll divorce you at any moment. Hey, man, that's what these American women do. Marriage is a contract with government, actually. So be careful what you wish for. All right. That's my video about the Compaq N80 180 Superior EVO N180 Windows 2000. Adios. I have 2 other computers that I received for recycling. I'm going to make separate videos, similar video. I'll just, show you the hardware. I'll tell you what's wrong with them, if there's anything. One has Windows 7. I will load Windows 7. The other laptop, the IBM, I think also, let me think. That was Windows XP. I have Windows XP. We'll go through and I will install Windows XP, and we'll just, go from there. I don't know if anybody has quite frankly, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you're offended by my jokes or anything I say. And I don't give a fuck if you hate these videos, or quite frankly, I don't, if you enjoy them, that's great. If they're productive, that's great. But quite frankly, I don't give a fuck. Adios.